Yo, 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 what's up? Facebook, YouTube. We out riding today. Under the weather lately, and plus I had some car issues I had to take care of, so I didn't get to ride the last 2 days. Gonna ride today and tomorrow. Try to finish this week up strong. Good this way, good that way. Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. We're out with the sporting the Orion ride with the. I got some yellow armbands. It's kind of cool out. Not hot at all, so that's good. I think it's supposed to rain here in a couple hours or so, so gotta try to get this ride done. Man, it's a good one. All good in the hood. Yep. I just, had a little bad luck. Car had a little coolant leak. Had to get it fixed. And actually somebody hit me on the road and got my car repaired, and it was leaking after the accident, but these insurance companies, man, not wanting to pay and arguing with them. And they were claiming that the coolant leak was somewhere where it couldn't be caused by the wreck. So it's a pain in the butt. So I was dealing with them, and they just denied it. So I have to take them to court if I want to get it fixed. But I just broke down and pay for it right now and decide if I want to pursue it. Yeah, that's it. It's all right. Stay positive, baby. Through it all. We're here, back in the saddle, doing it right. Yeah, a lot of respiratory and sore throat kind of stuff going around. So wound up getting me finally, and thought it was over. It felt like it's coming back a little bit, but we'll see if we get this ride in. I don't think it's gonna affect me. Hopefully it'll clear it out. Fresh air in my lungs. May. Cool and overcast, and let's get the ride in before the rain. All day, every day. Camera a little bit, trying to get it today, since this is a regular ride, and I'm just filming myself today. Blabbing. Just the blabbing. Got the tires aired up since I hadn't rode a couple days, and plus I hadn't filled them up before that. I rode last week a little bit, so yeah. I find out if you ride a lot during the week, your tire pressure can go down about 10 psi. I I usually keep mine at 65. You know, I got a lot of weight on this bike, and plus my weight, all the stuff I carry in my saddlebags. So I like a higher pressure. I like a higher pressure, so I start 65, and like today when I looked at them, they were down to 50. So that's because they were ready to get filled up, and plus they didn't ride 2 days, made it longer. So always stay up on your tire pressure. Something you don't want to neglect, because get too low, hit a bump or something, more of a chance to strand you. Underflated tires. So but whew, up the hill, Will. But we're doing good for the year. I'm not sure if I've already broken 5,000 for the year. If I had what I rode last year all the way up until the other day, I was over it, well over it a little bit. If I'm riding the same as I rode last year each day, I will have already broken it. So just trying to get more miles. I did a little less than 4,900 last year. I really wasn't trying, but when I saw the total at the end of the year, when it gave me the yearly tracking thing, that's when I realized, shoot, I should have won a little bit more and break the 5,000. So that's what I wanted to do this year. On the left.
Thank you so much for letting me know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. So anyway, I got me some new gloves. My left hand, all this riding, man, it's just started getting a little tender on the underside of my hand. Almost felt like carpal tunnel or something. So I got a little padded gloves, and I'm starting to ride with those to kind of help, so my hand ain't against that hard rubber for all these miles. And so we'll see how they go. I've been riding lately with the glove. There was an old one, and only had one on the hand that really was hurting me, so that was good. But yeah, really don't like gloves, but these fingers are cut off. So that's good. Hopefully, just make my hands hot. I think the weather's cooling down, so it'll be nicer now. It'll actually keep them warm a little bit. Next month or so, I'm gonna start really feeling the cold. Gonna have to take the shorts I have on now and start wearing some long johns and long pants, hoodies, face masks, because we ride all day, every day. Rain, snow, or shine. We try not to ride in rain and snow, but if it happens, it happens. You see the trail. It'll probably be, it just rained yesterday and last night pretty good. Just morning, maybe a little bit, so I'm sure there'll be some puddles on the trail today. Hopefully they're not too bad. I know they had time to run off, or if the ground was so dry it soaked it up a lot. Hopefully we needed rain, so this is a good sign right here. This is pretty dry. You can see it where the leaves are. It's wet, but retains some of the water on it. We got all the camera stuff and drone and all in the back, so we're heavy down today. We're really heavy. Plus all my lights and cameras. Bless your soul, baby. Redemption through forgiveness. That's what you gotta remember, man. You don't ask for forgiveness and thank the Lord for the blessings you already had. You're not gonna get any new ones. I hate to tell you. Yeah. You know, I always struggle. You know, I'm thinking Christianity has just been too silent. People aren't vocal enough, and you know, the liberal left just runs over you, man. If you just, there's no pushback. So I don't know. Maybe I'm more of a confrontational Christian, one that believes in the Crusades, and you know, you gotta get out there and promote the Lord. If you hurt some people's feelings on the way, or trigger them, I don't have a major problem with that. You know, as long as you just ain't outright nasty to them. You know. But I will tell you, someone lays a hand on me, I'm not gonna allow that. I'll ask for forgiveness, man. But I just don't buy into that concept. Be compassionate and tough. Sorry about that. I got stuff built up in my chest trying to get out. But yeah, you know, especially with the killing of Charlie Kirk, you know, someone just trying to bring discourse into America. You know, you got to be able to listen to others, even if they don't, even if their viewpoint isn't your viewpoint. I'll listen to them. Doesn't mean I have to believe them. That's a little wet here. So you listen to them, man, and make your arguments to them, and you know, do your best to try to change their mind while they're trying to change your mind. That's what America's about, baby. I mean, it's freedom of speech. You know, sometimes I used to always lean on the side that freedom of speech even includes hate speech, because, you You know, you can't really be truthfully free speech if you don't do that. But I mean, free speech has also obligations and responsibilities, and if you're using free speech to really hurt someone, bring distress to them or pain, then I think your free speech is bordering on needing to be tempered down. I don't know. It's a tough one, man. Just how much hate speech do you really allow before it starts infringing on others? And that's the thing. If it starts infringing on others, then I mean, your free speech don't necessarily nullify somebody else's personal rights given by God either. So, you know. So I think as I move on, I think my mindset slightly is changing, that I believe there could be limits to hate speech. It's all good. But hey, folks, I mean, bringing God back in my life and starting to ride this bike has really done wonders for me. I've never been more at peace, and in health, from a health standpoint, I haven't felt this healthy in, you know, in my 40s and 50s as I am now. So, you know, I just, you know, you get that rat race with kids and bills and everything else and work, and man, it's easy it is very easy to lose control of your health. You know, especially when you sit at a desk and do a white collar job and you're not doing blue collar stuff and you're not getting exercise in. And then when you do have time to exercise, you're just mentally drained from work and all the other stuff that you aren't really the most motivated to go work out. So, you know, I can see I got in that trap, chasing the money, trying to work harder, move up, make more money, all that stuff, man. But in that rat race, and then don't focus on you. But and you know, I have that saying that everyone knows, the Will saying, existing isn't living. You know, that's pretty powerful, folks. I mean, if you're just existing in life, going day by day like a robot, not enjoying yourself, not at peace with yourself, man, you're just existing. You're not living, man. You know, I live just like today, man. You get out on this bike, you got woods around you and fresh air, and it's just relaxing, soothing, man. Let all that frustration, you know, like all these car issues I had to deal with for several days, it was getting frustrating. but dealing with other people, insurance companies, and this and that. But you know, get out here and just let all that frustration and stress leave your body. Enjoy the nature, and it'll be good for you, good for your health, good for your soul, especially if you got God in your life. And if you don't, you better. You should. Definitely should, because hey, I can tell you my story. I grew up. My mom made us all go to church, and you know, growing up, we were so young, we didn't know anything, but you know, but I'm glad my mom did, because you know, I kind of grew up in religion and got saved, and I was thinking I was more godly, and then as I got older, you know, partying, dancing, all that stuff, man. You know, letting the world control you. You know, between that and catches up, man. You know, you go to college and you have liberal teachers that indoctrinate you, and you really don't realize it while it's going on. But looking back now, you say, yeah, they did. You know, just so yeah, just thanking them for stopping. But yeah, you know, so you can let that stuff get to you, and you know, question your faith. And I've always been a scientific kind of guy, you know. As it is, I had a very hard time with blind faith. You know, I'm a scientific kind of guy. I said, hey, there's a scientific reason. I always believed that, and I said, we may not know, and maybe the Lord don't want us to know, but you know, I was never atheist, no way. I was probably, I was leaning on the side of believing God all the time, but you know, just not being able to quantify Him, and you know, I always ask the Lord, you know, give me some kind of sign. Let me know. How do I know? You know. Well, that's not a good thing to do either, because the way you might just find out that the way He lets you know isn't the most fun way. And you know, 2020, I had a stroke. Carotid artery was 90% blocked. Started losing my motor skills on the right hand side, since it was on the left hand side of my carotid artery that was blocked. A little piece of plaque broke off, went to my brain, caused my right arm to be numb, and so got lucky, man. If a bigger piece would have broke off, I wouldn't be here today, right? Or I could have been paralyzed on my right side. So luckily it was a little piece, and it was enough to wake me up, man. Wake up call. And you know what? It was at the height of COVID, and you realize that you're in a hospital there all by yourself. No one's allowed to come see you, no family members, or nobody. It was lonely, man. It's just you, that hospital bed, and God. And I think God gave me that wake-up call because He know I needed it, you know. And it happened at a time where I had no other distractions and nothing else to lean on other than God. I try to remember that Bible verse that says something about in our weakness. We find strength in our weakness or something like that. And that's about it. I tell you, anyway, I prayed that. I thought I was dying and couldn't sleep for 2 or 3 nights. Swelling was in my neck, was pushing on my trachea, and felt like I couldn't breathe. But I was getting oxygen. They said I was getting oxygen because the meter was telling me out. I mean, it wasn't super good, but it was good. But it was the more of a anxiety because it felt like I couldn't breathe. It was like restricted in a way. So it was psychologically getting to me now. So anyway, I did a lot of soul searching and praying. I needed it, and good things happened, man. Good things happened. Started when I made it through there. I got to thinking about life. What I didn't do, what I had done, and all the stuff I didn't have ready for something like this to happen, and it was an awakening. Awakening experience, and I needed it because I admit I'm a little hard-headed, but changed my life, man. So got home, and they wouldn't let me leave either because I had more weight on me, and they claiming I had sleep apnea more or less, and I didn't have any oxygen or any one of those masks that they wanted, CPAP that they wanted to put on me. So anyway, they wouldn't let me leave until I got some oxygen. So I had to go and get some oxygen bottles and take them home with me, and then get the doctor to go get a CPAP machine. So anyway, started doing all that, and next thing you know, I said I gotta get healthy, man. Started thinking, and I said, I always ran high school and cross country, and tell you what, I was in pretty darn good shape, man. JT, man, one hell of a coach. I saw him today on Facebook. Shouted at him. Good guy, man. Workers are winners. That's what he told me. And I said, that's right. Well, JT was a worker and a winner. He good. I mean, he was hard on us, but all that extra work paid off on how you raced, and good wealth of knowledge, man, when it comes to track and running. So anyway, but yeah, I had more weight on me. I hadn't ran in a long time since the Marine Corps. I started thinking, man, I'm gonna get a bike. So that's less on my knees and ankles, all that treatment, man, hitting the pavement. So I think it would have been easier on my legs. So I I looked at getting a bike, and COVID was happening too, and you got outside and started riding. So I started riding, and I lost 45 pounds from the time I started riding, from April to September. Then September came, and let me tell you, I'm glad I lost 45 pounds because I wound up catching COVID real bad, and I was back in the hospital back and forth 3 times. I really did, thinking I was dying. That stuff just gets in your brain and keeps your brain working and thinking, and anxiety, and same thing, that respiratory stuff, like you can't breathe again, and so that took me down, man. That took me out. There was a time I was laying in bed, I could not even move. My son had to feed me, and he started looking up some stuff, and right there towards the end, man, when I thought it was almost over, he read something about melatonin, and I'm telling you, my body, lack of sleep, I was fatigued, and I just had no energy, man. I was zapped. So I didn't want to eat. That didn't help either. And felt like I couldn't breathe. So it was a tough one, man. And so he read up. So he wound up giving me a sleeping pill to knock me out, so that I couldn't try to shut my mind down. And then he gave me some melatonin, and he fed me, and then that night I went to sleep, and I woke up the next day, and I kid you not, I was feeling better a little bit. I was starting to move a little bit. So, you know what? Did the same thing the next night, and woke up again, and I was 50% almost back to normal after 2 days. And the third day, did it again, and I was, 80%. I was almost there, and getting better. So did one more day, and I kid you not, I was feeling normal again. I think being knocked out and getting sleep and having my body not being fatigued, and the melatonin helped me to get good sleep, good quality sleep, that I felt good. I went from laying in the bed where I could barely move to 100%. And I'm pretty sure it was 4 days, 3.5. Yeah, it was eye-awakening. I went to hospitals and they just give me all kinds of crap, couldn't tell me crap. Oh, it's a virus, you just gotta tough it out. And here we are. My son just reading on the internet, finding this out. Somebody had success doing it. It's worth trying. Sure enough, man, it worked for me. And man, from that that day on, anytime I knew anybody with COVID, I would let them know what turned me around. I said, those people who are going to get you, I tell you what, never let them put you on a ventilator, even if it's last choice, because everybody I know, once you're on that ventilator, boom, you're done. And it happened to my cousin, man, and I'm really upset. I just didn't know really truly how bad he was, but my cousin with COVID, man. Younger than me, but miss you, Ron. He's a good one. On the left. But yeah, man, I was amazed. In a way, I could say my son actually saved my life. Because I was about to give up, man. I couldn't move. You know, they called the ambulance, and last time I went to the hospital, they tried to get me out of the bed and get me to move, and I couldn't move, I told them. So, I don't know, go to the hospital, they start feeling still not even right, then they said, well, you got oxygen, this and that, there's nothing we can do for you. And they just kick you out of the hospital, man. Just taking up another bed spot, man. And with the height of COVID, I guess that was important because I guess there's somebody else that can make more money on it than me just laying there. But I will tell you, the one thing I think may have helped me is when I got released from my stroke, and before I caught COVID, I had that oxygen tank in my house. And, you know, when I caught COVID, my lungs were trashed, and it really helped the fact that, that's a nice hawk. So it helped the fact that I had that oxygen in my nose, and it was going full time when I felt like I couldn't breathe. It was at least forcing oxygen up my nose. So I really think that was a blessing that I wound up getting that tank when I left the hospital the first time. And you got to think, I said, man, I look back on some things now and I said, I don't know, man. I don't believe in all these coincidences, but I think the good Lord was looking after me, man. It was a challenge. So, anyway, man. Yeah, after I got done with COVID, I was down another 30 pounds. I was totally down 75 pounds to 80 pounds from when I had my stroke, man. And, you know, and then I started riding my bike again after COVID, and my lungs just felt trashed. I was struggling to get 5 miles. And so I just kept riding, you know, trying to go faster and faster and longer, and just coughing that stuff up, man. And over time, you know, I was going up to the end of the day, 20 miles or more a day, and 100 to 130 a week, shooting for. And now my lungs have been clearer than they were in the 40s and 50s. So, God and the bike, highly recommended. So, it's a pretty wild testimony. I had played sports in high school and did Marine Corps. I was always a 300 physical fitness test person. Scored the highest perfect score for all 4 years in the Marine Corps. I didn't even run every day in the Marine Corps and still could get 3 miles in 18 minutes. Yeah, it wasn't much. That wasn't much of a challenge. But towards the end there, it was. After not running, I'd get to that finish line and I'd be coughing up some stuff. So, you know, but always been in good shape in my life. Once you got into my job and kids and failed marriages and all that stuff, man. Distractors. Daily life consumes you. Next thing you know, you're existing and not living, just like I said. And that's not a good thing. Definitely not a good thing. But, oh, I tell you what, I ain't afraid to share my story. You know, if it can help anybody, one person, to look at my story and try to take control of their health before it's too late, and not have to have a stroke or lay on the bed, because not everybody gets a wake-up call. I'm gonna tell you that. I don't know. The Lord blessed me. He knew my work wasn't done, so He kept me around. What I'm doing these days is I'm bringing God back to America. That's it. I'm bringing God back to America. Yes, sir. Oh well, just realized that my GoPro fell down and the camera wasn't on me, but I got my Insta360 camera on me. So anyway, I can still get to that. But this is all about filming me and blabbing. You know, giving the full testimony of what happened to me, where I'm at right now in life. I'm in a good spot, man. I'm in a very good spot. This bike brought my health back to me. God has brought peace back to me. Very content. And my goal right now, I got one goal, and that is to help bring God back to America and the world. You know, I plan on doing it with this bike. I'm gonna, about a year from now, I'll be retired and I'll have time to ride across America. And that's my main goal. I am going to have a bicycle revival. That's right. And I'm going to have a lot of pamphlets, little cards made, and give them out as I go across America. Just spreading the gospel, man. Whatever I can do. I was with my wife in the doctor's office, her doctor's office the other day, and I looked down at the counter and I saw this little card, and it said the Romans Road to Salvation. And you know what? I got to thinking. When I got saved to the Romans Road to Salvation. Why would that sit there on that table saying that? Is that just mere coincidence? I don't think so. Anyway, so I flipped it over and I saw all the Bible verses that make up the Roman roads to salvation. and I read through them, and I remember almost every one. Once I started reading, I could finish the whole thing because it was ingrained in my mind. Only one of them I didn't have 100% correct, but that led me to a good idea that I'm gonna have a bunch of them cars like that when I ride. Yeah, Thurston thought about handing out Bibles, but a lot of Bibles gonna be heavy, a lot more weight, and these little cards or a pamphlet or something like that will be lighter. And I can carry them and get restocked, and just hand them out, man. That's gonna be a good plan for me. Across America's 4,300 miles. I watch a lot of people on YouTube do it, and California to Virginia or somewhere in Florida on the East Coast. You dip your tire in the Pacific Ocean. Then when you get to the East Coast, you dip your tire in the Atlantic Ocean. And that ends the trip. But yeah, so 4,300 miles, if you do 60 miles a day, 4,300, I think I did the math and it came out to about 2.5 months. Now that would be straight, so there's going to be days that you're not going to be able to get 60. Some days you might get more than 60. But especially on the West Coast going up the Continental Divide, you're going to have 13,000 feet or some certain altitude you got to climb to there. That's not going to be easy. That's going to be my hardest because this area is flat. When I ride every time, I ride about 700 feet of elevation I climb on each ride, but that's not a whole lot. You're doing about 3,000 or something a day or more. And yeah, you're gonna have a bike that's so heavy and laden down that you're gonna be going slow. So, how's it going? So, that's what we're gonna do is Wheel the Thrill Adventures, Bicycle Revival. Oh yeah, that'd be nice to try to do it and have it real time where people can track me and come out, ride along with me in certain sections. That way I won't ride alone. My own pace, don't know how worn down I'll be or whatever, but I'm always welcome to riders, keeping me motivated. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it. It's gonna be tough. Everybody that does it never goes as planned. So, yeah. Good thing Marine Corps trained here, they have a good motto: adapt, improvise, and overcome. Things are going to change, things aren't going to be right. You got to adjust to the situation and move on. Job accomplishment. Number one goal, job accomplishment in the Marine Corps. That was so ingrained in you. make you part of it, you know. It's going to be a once in a lifetime deal. And to tell you the truth, I really don't want to feel like I'm not enjoying it or having fun and being forced like I gotta get 60 miles every day or this or that, you know. I'll be tired. I won't have a deadline to meet. So I want to record it all, the adventure, and share this whole adventure and document it so that in time I can go back and watch it. Have it bring back all those memories. And the memories that won't be on video. But we'll see. I think one of the biggest challenges is you're sitting on a seat for 6-8 hours a day or more, and sweat, and rain, and wet. You got to keep yourself dry, and you start getting, you know, irritated and saddle sores. That's what I see a lot of people have to quit. They wind up getting saddle sores, and it's just so painful that they can't sit and do the trip. You know, whether if I do get it, just take a week off and continue if it gets healed enough. Because I really don't want to quit, man. I'm not a quitter. But if it winds up happening to me, I think I'll just take a week off and vacate and let the sores heal, and then continue it to the end. But that is going to be one of the big concerns is staying dry, because you're going to have wet water, mud, rain. You can't control it. Sweat. You gotta wipe off, keep clean, or you're gonna take you out. So yeah, and I can tell you, I can tell you just right here that if you go 3 or 4 or 5 days without a shower, and you're in camping and the campsite don't have a shower, and you're all sweaty and grimy from the day before, and wake up and do it again, and man, you are gonna stink. That's just it. You are going to stink. So I'm gonna try. You know, I might probably take more advantage of Airbnbs, or if my wife, I really think my wife is going to be in a vehicle going up ahead of me and waiting on me, and so that may help out, that I'll be able to stay drier a little bit better if I have a bed or something in like a van that's got solar on it, kind of just go from campsite to campsite and have her drive it. She can be editing the videos while I'm riding, and yeah, just make a production out of it. But we'll see. It's a goal. It's a dream and a goal. Because a dream without a goal is just a dream. So it's just gloomy out. It's cool. That's one good thing about it. I'm still sweating. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, it's gonna be lots of, you know, if my wife's in a support vehicle, then that's, you know, some people will claim, well, you didn't do it all by yourself. Nah, I'm gonna do it all by myself, but there is some argument to it that sleeping in a tent every night, doing that is a lot harder, and I agree. But I'm not gonna let it. I want it to be fun and not just a miserable experience. And you know, while I'm riding, my wife can be looking at all the history of all these little places, and inject some of that into the videos. I think that'll be nice. Yeah, that's it. Wheels blabbing. But you know what? What? That was a good thing. Got the mud. But watch it slip on me. Get it at an angle. But we're all good, man. We're just leisurely ride, you know, go a little slower than I normally do. But trying to talk and ride and somewhat pay attention to the road. But being on the trails one thing, you know, it's safer than the roads. I don't like roads, and that's going to be the challenge, especially on the West Coast, I think, going over the Continental Divide, that you're going to be on the roads a lot. I think they have good shoulders, which is good, but man, just distracted drivers. I'm just not a big fan of riding on roads a lot. I try to hit as many trails as possible, but the trails themselves have their own dangers. Things come out of nowhere. You get a lot of people walking and headphones on, can't hear you. You know, I try to have my electric horn there and beep it, have music playing sometimes so they can hear me coming up from behind, and then I yell, on the left. So it's something that gets done. Try to shoot for 25 today, maybe 26, because I gotta make up for 2 days I didn't ride. I'm not probably gonna be tough to make 100. Going the road yesterday, I could have, but had to get through that intersection. But yeah, I think I got 40, 41 or something like that. Only rode 2 days out of this week. Starts on Monday. I rode Monday and Thursday. I would have rode Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think we got over 100. But I ride 26 today. Again, make extra long tomorrow. I think I'll be able to try to get to 100. I always like getting 100, 130. Shooting for 20 miles, 5 days a week, 5 out of 7. Get you that 100 is what I kind of shoot. Some days I'll ride more. Another day, if something happens, I have to ride less. Kind of the day you ride a little bit more makes up for the day something happens. Look. Yeah, I hit that. This old hometown right here is always nice. I like it. All these pastel color houses on this little pond. Oh, that pond looks muddy. With all the rain, I guess, it stirred up all the mud. It's one of the muddiest I've ever seen that pond. So, everybody's got the Halloween decorations out. I'm not a big Halloween guy. I don't know. I think there's a little bit too much pagan values on with that holiday. So probably liked it more back when I didn't have God in my life, but now I'm not a big Halloween guy. But you know, I tell you folks, the food we got these days is just terrible. So much processed food, and I admit, man, I was doing real good when I first started. I wasn't eating chips and stuff, but now those chips snuck back in on my nails, and I gotta cut them back out, man. I just gotta have the strength. But my mama used to always tell me, Bill's a slacker. She knew me. She knew when I was younger, if I left, she left me with a bag of chips, they'd be gone by the time she'd get back. But yeah, it's up to you to take control of your health, especially the older you get. And you know, if your job's a blue-collar job and you're physically working, and you probably don't have as much of a problem. But if you sit behind a desk and you don't really have much physical activity, that yeah, you just go to waste. If you couple that with not eating right, not working out, Father Time is going to catch up with you like it did me. And if it does, you better hope that the good Lord gives you a wake-up call, because not everybody gets it. You know, I can tell you right now, people, you know, I saw something the other day that says, usually there's a cross equals mercy on people's cars, and this one car had the cross equals cult, and man, I was so upset when I saw that. That lost soul in that car. That's all right. There'll be a judgment day one day, and they're not gonna like it. But yeah, man, like I was saying earlier, I always had the issue of blind faith, man. But you know, with all this nearly dying twice in 2020, and my wake-up call, there is, without a shadow of doubt, that I know God exists. And We may not know everything. He doesn't want us to know everything. But you don't have to make me a believer. I witness mercy and grace. I wouldn't be here right now today if it wasn't for it. So, you know, you're free to think what you want. I just pray that you guys come around. If you do, if you don't believe in God, then sooner or later you come around to Him, because it might just be too late one day. And yeah. With Jesus, day in, day out, man. We're getting all this workout in, so we're preparing for the bicycle revival. So that's why I'm riding so much. You know, I'll be riding almost what I do in a year and 3 months. It's a huge shock. There's a northern route that might be a little shorter. The southern route's the shortest of all, but yeah, no water hardly. You got to carry a lot of water because you may not have it. You have to filter water to survive. A lot of thorns. People get a lot of flats over there in East Texas, Arizona. Goat heads, or it's like a thorn. And but it's going to be a good time. We're going to praise the Lord and spread the gospel and do our part in bringing God back to America. You know? Gotta do my part. So I just ask everybody else joins me doing their part, and this whole nation will have a revival because it needs it. We've allowed a certain sector of society to control everything, to control the narrative. And can't do it anymore. This is where it leads me into what I was talking about earlier, that Christians can't be silent anymore. They got to speak up and spread the word. offend somebody by spreading the word of God, I'm not concerned. It is my duty to try to help save people and bring God to them so that they don't lose out on eternal life. They have the freedom. They have free will to decide whatever they want. But I'm going to do my part and spread the gospel. Tell people about my precious God, my Lord and Savior. You're still with me? I guess you like to hear a lot of babble. Anyway. It's good that you kept me company. If you did. And those who bugged out won't know what they missed. Yeah. Workers a winner, baby. That's what JT said. And I stole it. Yeah. Young people these days haven't worked on any kind of coping skills with when things don't go their way, or other people have opinions that they don't like, you know, have their cushy little safe house, safe space, or whatever you want to call it, and sheltering yourself from the real world. That ain't how you do it. Developing an old victim mentality. I don't get it, man. But I don't know. I was kind of upset how my dad raised me. He was hard on us. Got our butt spanked. It wasn't an easy living. But I tell you what, looking back, if he didn't do that, don't tell him where I'd be at today. Probably wouldn't be right here. Could be in a jail cell or anything, man. Hanging around the wrong people. That's another thing I learned in life with this, bringing God back to my life, that you just, negativity, man. Stop being around negative people, or negative situations. One of my lifestyle changes was giving up alcohol. You know, it wasn't just the alcohol, man. It's just alcohol leads to other problems, man. You know, fights, not doing things right. You know, just a whole host of stuff, man. So, giving up alcohol was a good old situation for me. On the left. good decision, man. So that and negative people, man. Negative people will bring you down in life. You can't soar with eagles when you're hanging around turkeys.